Okay, you guys, yesterday we talked about who owns the problem. And just a quick refresh on the fun fact, whoever owns the problem of the situation is going to be the one who's motivated for things to change. So if sibling squabbles is a problem for us as parents, we're going to be motivated for that to change. If it becomes a problem for our kids, instead of us, they are the ones who own it, and then they're the ones that are going to be motivated for things to change. So, yesterday we talked about ideas on your own personal boundary and how to make your having to listen to fighting and everything a problem for them instead of a problem for you. Now, we know that you also want to see a decrease in the amount of fighting while still giving ownership over to them. And so you may be wondering, how do I do that? So, the next thing that we're going to teach you is we need to start thinking as parents, how do I make the sibling fighting a problem for my kids so they will now be self motivated to not fight as much? So, let's say that you have kids that are arguing all throughout the day and you have been good at removing yourself from the situation, not getting involved in it. The fighting isn't bothering you as much, but you still would like it to decrease in frequency. So now we've got to start to think, okay, fighting really isn't a problem for me, but I'm still concerned about how much fighting there is. So, how can I make it a problem for my kids? And this takes some creativity. This does take a level of willingness to try something that's uncomfortable because we are talking about shifting the discomfort from our shoulders onto our kids, and sometimes parents get a little squirmish about that. Some of you don't have any issues with that at all, and that's fine. But some of you are more like me in your parenting style, and just um, it's hard to let my kids own the problem because I don't like seeing them uncomfortable. But it goes back to that lesson of choose your heart. So let's go back to this scenario though. You've stepped out of it. You aren't involved anymore. You're taking care of yourself better, but you would like it to decrease. So now we've got to figure out what is an effective way that I can show my kids that fighting really doesn't serve them. So here's a couple of examples that Janet and I like to give. So let's say that you recognize that this is going on a lot. You are going to try to figure out somewhere that you could go together as a family and make a plan to go to this place together as a family. And you're going to talk it up and about how excited you are to go to the movie or to go to your favorite restaurant or to visit a favorite friend and go over and spend time at their house. And you are going to, like I said, talk this up. And then if there's any sibling arguing that happens, you then find a way for the kids to not get to participate in that because you can't trust that they're going to come and not just fight with each other. So we're going to talk tomorrow about how this is really connected and logical, and it's an excellent teacher, but you're going to shift that ownership over to them so they don't get to participate in the thing that would be fun because they have argued all the time at home. And so you don't know that you can take them confidently to the movie and not have arguing happen along the way and have to listen to that. Or to the friend's house or to the fun activity because there's been so much arguing that you don't feel comfortable having them be together. And so then you've just got to leave them at home and you go do your own thing and enjoy your time without any arguing. And what this shows the kids is, hey, this arguing is now a problem for us. There's these things that we would like to get to be involved in that we don't get to be because of our arguing. This is giving ownership over to them. They're the ones that have made the choice, and so now they're the ones that get to own the consequences of their choices. And what happens in their brain is they start to connect the dots between the choice and the outcome of their choice. And so you're setting it up so that they are the ones making the choice and they're the ones owning the problem of the choice. So let's say that you were, let me just give you like an analogy or another example of this to help drive the message home. Let's say that you are going to work day after day and your coworker was late day after day. But in order to get things started smoothly and on time, you did her work for her that she was supposed to do to get like the office ready and set up for like when your clients first come or your patients first come. And day after day after day, you're taking ownership of this and it's a problem for you. So you're motivated for it to change. But then you figure out, you know what? I'm actually just going to take care of me and let her own her part of the office not being ready when her patients come or her clients come. And you start to allow her to experience that. When is she going to be more motivated for change to happen? When you're making it okay, or when she gets to own the natural outcome and consequence of her choice? It's obviously the second one, when she gets to own that. And so what we want to encourage you to do is to start to think of ways that the arguing, that choice, can be a problem for the kids instead, so that they are motivated to start to get it under control. So we are going to talk next week about how to make a plan and then how to execute that plan. But for tomorrow, we're going to talk about consequences that make sense and that are good teachers, and how to do that in a way that's going to keep your relationship intact while you're doing it. But for today, we want you just to see that you can shift that ownership onto them so that the problem starts to decrease. For today, what we're going to encourage you, or the challenge for today, is picture that you are taking care of yourself better, and the arguing isn't a problem for you, but you're still wanting the arguing to decrease. And what is a way that you could shift the ownership of that onto your kids instead? And we'll have an example in like down below this video so that you can see the example and then share your thoughts.